My guests are going to be calling in just a little while, getting ready to run down my logistics. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Crew Podcast, Season 1. Of course, I am the visionary Queen Angela, and I am going to be sharing voices from behind the walls. I'm going to go ahead and run through our introduction. I'm going to play the clips from our videos. But I was just over here giving out some logistics. I'm going to play a little clip from our video, play some commercials, and then by that time, my callers should have called in. But welcome, 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 y'all. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, y'all. I tell you, not often y'all get a chance to see me from behind the scenes, but every opportunity that I get, I take, y'all. So make sure that you mark your calendars. You're going to be seeing me 14 days in December. 14 days in December. I am going to be sharing some amazing individuals that have signed up to be a part of my show. So, y'all, let me go ahead and get these little commercials out the way, and then I will be right back. Don't y'all go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Y'all share this with someone in your circle of Hey, and welcome to the Crew Podcast. We are the hottest podcast rocking right now. We are currently looking for 6 amazing hosts to join our family for season 2 that will kick off February the 1st, 2024. If you're looking for an opportunity to allow your voice, your perspective, and your brand to be heard around the world and seen around the world, then join the Crew Podcast. 3, 2, 1, it's going down like confetti. Water to no one shots again. If we do it on a Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Of course, y'all know I am the visionary behind the Crew Podcast, and I tell you, I'm excited. Had an opportunity last night to share an individual that is currently incarcerated with Tdcj. Had an opportunity with him to share his story, and tonight it continues. Y'all know I don't stop, I don't stop. So I want y'all to share this with someone in your circle of influence because you never know what someone may be in need of. So y'all, please share this out, share this out, share this out if you would. Tonight, I want my guests to introduce their self. If you would, please introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Lee Beard. I've been incarcerated for 20 years, and I've been on this show a few times. I'm a little nervous, but it's all good because I know what you guys are doing. You're doing something very positive, and I'm all about that. In 2012, I gave my life to Christ, and I've been purposely, be purpose to pursue all things with our Christ. Tonight, I want to speak to you guys about forgiveness. And it's not just from my personal self or my personal pathway. It's one of the hardest subjects that we humans, that we Christians have to actually put into motion. I've been locked up in this prison for about 20 years. And it's its own little realm, its own little micro universe. A lot of times when you see TV shows or the news or whatever, they speak to prison as a negative place, a place of hopelessness, mundane repetition, society and weather and world events and family and freedom and all those things that, are beautiful. They have this saying in here, they talk about rain, the rain is eventually going to get you wet. But in prison, that's not actually true. I mean, a lot of people, they actually don't get a chance to see weather change. There's a lot of people in here that make you really think that you'll never be able to see the sun again. For me, I know that I'm a sinner. I know that I've been justly sentenced for my crimes. And I call myself a Christian. Now I want to ask y'all a good question. My question is, who are we if we are not the labels that we place upon ourselves? When you say that you're a Christian, you're supposed to do certain things. You're supposed to follow the Bible. You're supposed to follow the commandments. Everything that the Bible says. But how much of the Bible do we actually follow? I'm far from perfect. I can't even pick up a anybody else. How literal do you take your faith? That's another question I want you guys to ponder upon. In the New Testament, Matthew 18:21, it says, then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? Jesus said unto him, let's not say 7 times, but 70 times 7. And from there they talk about the parable of the unforgiving servant. I'm not going to go into full description on that, but that servant, he owed his master a lot of money, and his master forgave him. The servant earnestly asked for forgiveness, and then the same servant went out to people who owed him and tried to get his money back, I guess. And he wasn't merciful at all. And his master heard of this, and he judged him correctly. 70 times 7. Calculated up as just 490. There you have it, people. 490 times. That's what Jesus said. We only have to forgive our neighbors 490 times. That's it. And after that, we're good. Nah, that's not it. So when you talk about the Bible, it's a living book. Throughout these centuries that it's been around, it's been here to guide us in every single detail of our life. And there's so many truths in it. You know, in prison, you get a lot of time to think. That's something I was able to do before incarceration. You actually get to learn how to critically think. Now, I ask you guys a question. Who are we if we are not the label we place upon ourselves? I said I'm Christian, but am I truly obedient? Have I done above and beyond? Have I done my best? Am I just a hearer of the word and not a doer of the word? There's a state called Missouri, and they got this little thing they say, show me state. I like that because they always try to prove to you exactly what they're talking about. And I ran across the saint, his name is Saint Francis of Assisi, and he said, teach them your faith and use words if you have to. When I hear that, use words if you have to, wait a minute, you just said teach them, and part of teaching is communicating, talking to someone. But you don't always have to talk. Sometimes you can just show them with your actual action. They have another little saying somewhere in the Bible that says faithful in little and faithful in much. And this means that the little things you do add up to the big things you do. You know, in the Bible it says there's no half-stepping, there's no straddling the fence, there's no mediocre, there's no lukewarm. For me, being a felon, it's all or nothing. I have a sentence that's a long sentence, but eternity is even longer than that. So forgiveness, right? That's what we're talking about tonight. I'm not going to name any names, but I got a list. I think everybody's got a list. My list is a little bit different, though. It's 2 parts. The first part is people that I've wronged, people that I want to go back and I want to just prove to them my change, prove to them my worth, prove to them that I'm actually worth it. And I have another list. This other list is it's the people I need to forgive. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a real Christian, so this is a work in progress for me. Again, I'm not perfect. I know I'm far from perfect, but I do know a guy. You know, everybody knows. One of those guys. You know, that guy where you see him and you go and you shake your head side to side like, oh man, I can't believe this guy's here again. One of those guys. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not even going to give you a full detailed account of him or anything that he has actually done. I can spout a lot of verified, brilliant, victual about this guy's personal disposition, but I'm not. The truth is, I just don't like him. I don't like him because of his past. It's a big thing. Abraham Lincoln said, I don't like that man. I'm going to get to know him better. I thought that was pretty cool what he said. He sees a guy that he really just doesn't know why he doesn't like him. He just says, I don't like that man, but I'm going to get to know him better. Well, I did. What I learned about this individual that I told you I don't like, you know, that guy, I learned that officers, inmates, medical staff, security, everybody that's around this place that I'm in, this room that I'm in, Everybody has a consensus about this guy. Nobody likes him. In prison, there's about four types of people. You got those that change for the good. You got those that learn better techniques to become a better criminal. You got those people that hide and pretend or deny, and they remain the same. And in this last category, you got those people that cause calamity. People that like to bring others down that rabbit hole. You know, they say the crabs in the bucket, how crabs keep pulling the other crabs down. That's this guy. See, for the past 10 years, anybody that's been on anything positive, they become a target in this man's eyes. Now, this guy, I won't go into too much detail, but this guy's a genius. Well, he's a genius at deniable plausibility, manipulation, and overt sugariness. I don't know if that's right, sugariness. He's good at misdirection. Let me paint you a little bit of a picture. See, I counseled another gentleman back in the day, about 10 years ago, and this gentleman was a former influencer of negativity that was linked to a lot of violence and specific colors as identification of this group. So I helped this man transition out of that area, out of that arrangement. I became somewhat of a trusted advisor or a liaison in such transactions. Basically what I'm saying is people that were in gangs, I helped them get out of that gang. Anyway, one of my charges, he introduced me to this guy, that guy. And this guy, well, he said that he was one of those people that was also transitioning too. I took him at face value as I had no evidence tonight. That was our first meeting. For 6 years, I viewed this guy, tempt people in ire, just pure anger, and he's done it so many times. Sometimes it ends in violence. Sometimes it ends in somebody getting moved or a big argument or a disagreement. I thought it odd at the time because the person presented himself as something different. And then he moved away. He moved to a different county, if you will. Mind you, this is prison, so in prison, this unit particularly is a 5,000-man unit. It's like a campus, maybe a small high school campus or a small college campus. It's very insular, which means island-minded. Everybody knows everybody's business. If something happens, we all know about it. Then COVID struck. COVID was very bad in the free world, but it was very bad in here too. We quarantined, but how do you quarantine in a place designed to keep people together? Anyway, I ended up in this man's neighborhood. You pass somebody every day and you say hi and bye, but you don't really have to get to know them. You don't have to really just mess with them like that. Just, few passing words. I usually ignore them, to be honest with you. I ignored them or just avoided his passageway. And you know what? All of his neighbors had stories about him. Every last one of them had a story about that guy. Time elapses, things happen. People move on, people change. I end up relocating to for a better word, I ended up relocating to a street. Just a few houses down. I could see and hear him, but it wasn't like he was a part of my life still. He was just somebody that was around me. You ever see that bad neighbor? That bad neighbor that's on your street? They don't maintain their property. They don't cut the grass. There's always something going on over there. Loud party. Nefarious traffic. Police raiding. That was this guy, and everybody knew it. I watched this man mesmerize the youngsters. The Bible has this thing about false teachers. People who teach someone and lead them astray. I watched this man make up these fanciful stories that usually just justified his crimes or downplayed his accountability. A very sugary approach. The one that the older people that we grew up around, they tell us watch out for those types of people. When you see a person like that, there's usually something going on. Nobody gives that many compliments. Nobody is always that happy. Personally, I just seen this guy. I just hoped I wouldn't have to interact with this dude. I didn't want to do anything negative with him. I just didn't want to be around him. I prayed for relief. I prayed for patience. I prayed for deeper faith. I prayed for an answer. And I got that. When you pray sometimes, you get exactly what you needed, not what you want. That guy left. He left. He was out of my hair. I didn't have to deal with him anymore. Somehow, some way, he got a self-help class to, help him on his own journey. Everybody in the neighborhood, Oh man, we all relaxed. We even threw a party. Threw a party because we didn't have to deal with his ignorance. We didn't have to deal with his behavior anymore. What was cool though was I diligently studied. Something told me I would return to the same problem. Something told me I would. You know, you reap what you sow, but you also sow what you reap. The seeds that you put out, will they come back to you? I knew that I had been repurposed for a whole different purpose. I knew that I couldn't run from my problems anymore. I knew that I had to at least stay and deal with them. And guess what happened a year later? When he returned, he said he changed. He told everybody that. And then he moved right across the street from me. Like, if I come out my front door, I can see him. When I lay down at night, I can see him. But he said he changed. He said he changed. I ended up becoming this focus because of his nearness to me. They say flattery, when the person copies you, it's a form of flattery. This dude copied my every move. If I woke up at 3 in the morning, he would wake up at 3 in the morning. If I started working out, he would work out. Just did a whole bunch of little subtle things to attack me. If I was praying, he would try to play music real loud or have a party. If I was sleeping, he would talk really loud or, just anything to annoy me, to antagonize me. I believe right then and there that he was trying to force me into a violent interaction with him, or at least a negative interaction. What was so crazy about this guy was after he gets you upset, he would come back with this sugariness, and then he had what's called deniable plausibility. I mentioned that before. And he would do something and deny, I didn't mean to do it that way. I didn't know it was going to affect you that way. I didn't know you felt that way about what I just did. I apologize to the fullness. And you couldn't get at him because, well, he would manipulate crowds in that sense. He had this one technique where he would shoot shots. In prison, we have this thing where someone shoots shots, and what they do is they'll say something. I'm going to use Dallas Cowboys, for example. I hate Dallas Cowboys fans. And so every Dallas Cowboys fan turns and looks at you, and they're wondering, who are you talking to? You just shot in the air. Oh, no, I'm not talking to you guys. I'm just saying, in general, I hate Dallas Cowboys. He would do this. He would do this. I do hate Dallas Cowboys, too, by the way. Anyway, a lot of his altercations, as I started investigating, a lot of his altercations, they targeted people who were genuinely changed people. Good Christian brothers. A lot of the guys that are in the Free Texas program, he would target these individuals and he would try to bring them down. He would try to cause calamity. He would try to cause them to step outside of their character and revert to a former disposition of negativity. This guy attempted to, he attempted to falsely teach the youngsters. And he would teach them improper things in the Bible. He would teach them whatever he could teach them that was just negative and not correct. He colluded to put me in a situation where people who were former affiliates or affiliates thought I disrespected them by taking their homeboys away. Basically, he tried to get me jumped by other gangs. But they knew I was, so my disposition in God, my disposition in my faith walk helped me through that situation. This person actually stole some personal information from me. And this information, it wasn't my personal information. It belonged to my mentor. And then guess what he did? He said it didn't happen that way. This was a happenstance, a circumstance, but it wasn't that. He did several other incidences around this area, around this place, around this realm. And a lot of people are just really want to get at his throat. My mentor's name is Cornell, drummer, by the way. And my mentor, he told me we can't do that. We have to live by what we're talking about. We can't just pick one thing out of the Bible that we're going to follow and do it, and then pick something else out and say we're not going to do that. We have to do it all the way, fully, above and beyond. As iron sharpens iron, my brother told me correctly. And after we brought up our trespasses to this individual, we came to terms. We laid out all of our issues, and I actually forgave him at that point. I did what I thought was correct in the eyes of God. Who are we if we're not the labels that we place upon ourselves? In truth, I became hypercritical of this person. You know how they say, I forgive, but I ain't never going to forget. That's what I did. give people. People say state back is judgment, and we're told not to judge, but that does not mean non-action. Who are we if we are not the label that we place upon ourselves? I'm a Christian. I follow Christ. Yet I still hold on to some of those old slights. I forgave, but I didn't forget. You know what's funny? I ask for mercy all the time. I ask for the world to see me and my change and the path that I'm on. Yet 490 times, it seems like that's enough. Actually, it's not enough to deal with this guy. It's not. I was always taught to be precise in speech. And so let me tell you what the definition of mercy actually is. It's compassion or forbearance, shown especially to an offender, or to one subject to another who is in another's power. It's lenient, compassionate. Do you remember the game of mercy back in the day when we were kids? We'd link fingers in, hand in hand, put our fingers in between each other, and we'd flip our wrist up. And whoever the strongest was, they're going to get the other person to say mercy. I submit, basically, and you would do it to the other person's side. This is a form of submission. When we are in pain, we have to submit. I've been in pain for so long. This is why I came to Christ. Am I truly submitted to God, though, in everything? Am I truly being obedient in everything? That label that I put on, when I say that I'm a Christian, am I really that? Truth. People always say that truth is fixed and it does not change. I've learned that we cannot let our desires for a specific outcome or result cloud our perceptions. See, for me being in this place, truth is subjective. Now, the law is the law. We can't define the legal lines. We can't define the legal terms, but we can't define the legal lines. This truth that I'm talking about, this forgiveness is biblical. You can't strap a fence here. There's no lukewarm. There's no kind of, sort of, almost, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Truth is very, very, very complicated in its simplicity. It's actually very simple and very easy to be true. You know what's crazy? They say the truth will set you free. It doesn't always set you free. Sometimes it brings you closer to something that you're already trapped by. 100% right now, I know that I gave my all in forgiving this person. More than 490 times. I know I gave more than 490 times. But that's not what that scripture means. It means go above and beyond. It means actually trust in what God has put down. This is a faithful father who has said, forgive this person, let go of that weight, and have a clear mind, and then confess to me, then come to me. Come talk to me. See, I know that I serve God, because God has the best interest for me. He always has, even if I didn't know it for myself. I told you earlier that I prayed for more patience. I prayed for a deeper understanding. I prayed for a deeper faith, and I received those things. I honestly forgave this guy. And that's hard for a person like myself. But I did it. I even gave this gentleman an opportunity that would have been positively beneficial for him. Sometimes we may never know what a person's actual intentions or their logistics or their reasoning for doing something, or why they behave the way they behave. I do know that sometimes we are the only Bible a person has ever viewed. How we move and how we act that affects people. Sometimes you might be the only person that has actually ever given a person forgiveness. You might spur them into some type of action that might change the course of history. Who are we if we are not the labels that we set upon ourselves? The truth is, this dude spat my face. Not literally. He spat my face. He took an opportunity and he threw it away. I'm looking at this dude right now in the day room, and he's inebriated. I'm not snitching on him, but he's inebriated. He's doing the same thing that he always does. But I know that I dealt with him in the most civil and biblical way. I know that when God said, forgive him, I did. And what he does now, I don't have to worry about it. Because the God who sees his secret, he knows what my heart is about. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Wow. That is amazing. I want you to share with everybody, because some people have not heard your story. Um, where are you currently now?
Where am I currently? What?
Where are you currently now?
My realm? The
Hmm.
place I'm at right now?
Yeah.
I'm in Tdcj. I'm in Texas Department of Criminal Justice. D-Dorm, 19 building. I'm
And
incarcerated.
I just because you're speaking knowledge, you're speaking something that a lot of us we take for granted. Even in your situation, you're still able to be encouraging. You're still able to be uplifting. You're still able to be inspiring, and it just takes a special person to be able to do that, even with all that you're enduring, all that you're going through. And you talk about forgiveness,
Yes, ma'am.
and people have to understand that forgiveness is not always for the person that you're forgiving, but it's also for you. And
Well,
most of the time, it's really for you. You know,
yes, it is.
we
Yes, it is.
we often we oftentimes are hindered from our blessings and those doors being open for us because we hold we hold unforgiveness in our heart, and we carry around hatred. We carry around these things that will keep us out of the will of God. But then we say we Christians.
Uh, yeah, that was one of the things that I initially, when I became a Christian in 2012, I was like, how do I get rid of my anger? What can I do to get rid of the feelings of hurt that I feel like other people have caused in my life? And it was such a weight that I was carrying. You don't even know you're carrying a certain type of weight. You know, medically speaking, us humans, we're able to adapt to so much. And you walk around with a scar, with a pain, with an injury for so long, your body's gotten used to it. And so you think that's how you're supposed to walk. And so I had walked around with a type of anger for so long. When I gave it up, I was like, wow, this is much cooler. And then with this other individual I was dealing with and am dealing with, uh, I had so much just animosity towards him for him behaving and acting the way he does, and then trying to slip out of it. And I was looking at the guy, and I'm like, man, this dude is getting a lot of my energy, and I could be doing this paper, I could be doing this writing, I could be helping someone, I could be talking to someone about something positive. Yet I'm focused on this guy, and I made up I made my mind up mentally. I had to make it up mentally. The spiritual is going to come. But I had to make it up mentally. I had to make that big decision. Like, you know what? I'm not going to let him do this. I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I'm going to have to let go of this. And so when I made up my mind to actually forgive this dude, oh man, I felt so light. I felt so light. I felt everything get up off of me. And even when he spit back in my face and refused to take my little offer or that would be beneficial to him, I was like, you know what? I'm not even worried about it because I did exactly what I was supposed to do. And some of the guys that followed me, they knew about the little incentive I gave them, to turn over new leaves. And they were like, well, he just did that. Oh, that makes me so mad. I'm like, man, don't even worry about that. God's father, and we did what we're supposed to do. I did what I'm supposed to do. And when you actually are, Mr. Drummer always says this: when you're in line with everything else just falls into line. And so, so many things have been falling in line for me. And it was like the last little extra push of a step of faithfulness that I know I can keep doing. I know I can forgive others for things that I feel like they've called in my life. And I'm telling you, that's what God put that there for. It's just like when He tells you confess to one another, and you tell somebody, "Oh my God, this is what happened to me," and that weight that you get off of you, that truth does set you free. It does set you free. It takes off the extra shackles and weight of guilt, and it's just a wonderful feeling.
Wow. Well, like always, I thank you for stopping by and sharing with me, and being such a inspiration, to many. For those that don't know, Andrew is also a published author. He co-authored in one of my anthologies. Even from behind prison walls, he's allowing his voice to speak and to speak loud. Oftentimes we think that we don't have a message, or we don't have something that someone may need. But regardless of his circumstances, regardless of what he's been through, he's allowing his voice to speak. He's definitely the change that he desired to see in this world. He's being that change. So again, I thank you for taking time out to share with us. You are in my prayers, and I thank you for being that change and for being that leader and being that role model that others that are behind those walls with you can see, and that they can see the creator in you. So thank you for just being, and thank you for moving out your way and allowing God to be who he said he will be in our lives. And I just thank you. Is there anything that you would like to share with the listeners before we because I know your time is probably running out, and that little
You have
recording
one
gonna
minute
come
left.
on. So would you like to share anything within that 1 minute?
I would like to say, if you guys take the time to examine some of the situations that you go into, that you get into, you need to forgive yourself before you can forgive anyone else. You have to have that secret, sacred conversation with God and just lay everything on the table for Him. Somehow, some way, He's gonna make a way. He's gonna make it just right, just right. I thank you very much, Angela.
Thank you. You have a great
You have
evening.
a good night, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I tell you, um, I have been working with some of the inmates there inside of Tdcj for a little over a year now. I've had the opportunity to connect with probably about 40 incarcerated individuals. Some of these individuals, they are wrongfully incarcerated or overly incarcerated. Some of them, they did do the crimes that they were charged with. Some of them did not. He unfortunately is one that he did his crime. He owned up to his crime. He is serving the time for his crime. And one thing he has done is find forgiveness within himself so that he could be that inspiration for somebody else. See, oftentimes we hold things and we hold unforgiveness and we hold stuff on the inside and we won't let it go. Well, he has found forgiveness within himself so that he can be that inspiration to other people. He teaches guys karate on the unit. He is, like I say, he's a poet. He writes. He's featured inside of one of my poetry anthologies. He's also going to be in this new poetry anthology that's going to drop. It's going to drop in December. So y'all get another opportunity to chime into some of his work. We're going to have another caller calling in just a moment. We're going to do a commercial break while that caller I'm waiting for that caller to call in. I'm going to share a commercial with you guys. So y'all stick with me for just a moment and we'll be right back. Hey, and welcome to the Crew Podcast. We are the hottest podcast rocking right now. We are currently looking for 6 amazing hosts to join our family for season 2 that will kick off February the 1st, 2024. If you're looking for an opportunity to allow your voice, your perspective, and your brand to be heard around the world and seen around the world, then join the Crew Podcast.
Start the conversation now.
Well, welcome back, y'all. And we have my second guest. He is now on the line. If you would, please introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, if
How
you
you
would
doing? This
introduce yourself for me, please.
Yes, my name is Jimmy Johnson L.
Hi, Jimmy Johnson L. How are you?
You doing all right?
So if you would, share with those that are tuned in exactly who you are and your reason for showing up tonight.
name is Jimmy Johnson L. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I came down here to Texas from out of prison into a program called Synacor. Completed the program and never made it back home. I got into some trouble in 2008, but it really wasn't no trouble. If I can, I'd like to tell my story, what happened from the beginning.
The floor is yours.
In 2008, January the 12th, I was living in Spring Branch in Houston, off in an apartment complex off of Long Point and work. And on this date of the 12th, I was supposed to meet a friend of mine at a pool hall down the street on Long Point, down the street from my apartment complex. So when I got to the pool hall to meet my friend, he wasn't there. And I called him and asked him what was going on, why he didn't show up. He told me that he had a family emergency situation that he wasn't going to be able to make it. So I left the pool hall. And on my way back home to my apartment, I caught a headache, and I took an aspirin. As soon as I put the aspirin in my mouth, the next thing I know, I was being slammed down to the ground by two undercover police officers. One of them kicked me in my ribs, and I spit the aspirin back up, which was left of crumbs, spit back up on the ground. And the police scooped it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, said, yeah, we got it for cocaine. And I was trying to tell the police, I said, man, that's not cocaine, it's aspirin. We ain't trying to hear that. This is cocaine. We know it's cocaine. So they locked me up, and they took me to a police station on Long Point and held me in a holding area for about 3 hours. As I stayed in the holding area for about 3 hours, they took me downtown Houston to the Houston City Police Department for fingerprinting and processing. So while I was being processed, I asked the lady, what was I being charged with? She said, you're being charged with tampering with physical evidence, namely cocaine. And I told her, I said, miss, I never had cocaine. I tried to tell the police that I had aspirin. She told me there was nothing that she could do with it. She's just a processing officer. And I had to deal with it in court. This is still on date 112, January 12, 2008. So I stayed at the city jail overnight. The next day, they transferred me to the Harris County Jail. I stayed at the Harris County Jail for 2 days. This is January 15th, 2008. They took me downstairs to trial. At the time, I didn't know anything about the law. I didn't know anything about tampering with cocaine and none of that. So they took me to trial 2 days later on the 15th. When I got downstairs, a court-appointed attorney named Mr. Jerome Goddard Jr. came in to talk to me. He didn't ask me anything about the charge. He didn't ask me anything about what happened. The only thing he said to me was, he said, look, the DA and the judge said they offered a 2-year plea deal today and today only. They said if you don't take the 2-year plea deal, they're going to give you 10 years if you come back on the reset. I said, wait a minute, man. I said, hold on. I said, man, I never had cocaine. He said, you sure you didn't have cocaine? I said, man, I never had cocaine. I had aspirin. So he said, well, let me go talk to the DA. So he left out. So 15 minutes later, he came back. He told me, he said, look, he said, the DA said you had cocaine. You can take the 2-year plea deal today, or if you come back on a reset, they're going to make sure you get 10 years. But like I said, I didn't know anything about the law. And I felt as though my back was against the wall and I had no other choice. I didn't want to get no 10 years. So I took the 2-year plea deal. Sentenced to 2 years with the Tdcj. Did the 2 years, discharged the 2 years in 2010. Stayed out of trouble for like 2 years. And I ended up getting back in trouble for aggravated robbery, which I'm locked up for now, in the burglary of habitation. I went to trial. They used the 2008 prior conviction as an enhancement to enhance the aggravated robbery and the burglary of habitation. I ended up getting 45 years for the aggravated robbery and 20 years for the burglary of habitation. Came to Tdcj, 45 and 21 running concurrent. So basically just had a 45-year sentence. After serving 10 years on this 45-year sentence, I get some legal mail in the mail from the head district attorney, Ms. Kim Hogg. This legal paper that she sent me was a non-proton order stating that they made a mistake with the prior conviction that was used to enhance my sentences. She stated that the 2008 judgment that was supposed to be cocaine, they say they made a mistake and charged me with tampering with a dead body. So they convicted me and sentenced me tampering with a dead body instead of cocaine. So they was using this non-proton order to amend the judgment 10 years later from a second-degree felony tampering with human corpse to a third-degree felony tampering with cocaine. So after I received that, I filed a 1107 writ for newly discovered evidence, stating that my sentence was enhanced for a crime that I didn't commit, and I have evidence to prove it. Well, I filed the 1107 writs, and for some reason, somehow, my writs, the two writs that I filed, the aggravated robbery and burglary writs that I filed for the newly discovered evidence, never made it to the trial court judge. Kirk sent them straight to the Court of Criminal Appeals. And the Court of Criminal Appeals got them, they denied me without a written order because they said it was a subsequent writ. But didn't say nothing about a subsequent writ for newly discovered evidence. So I immediately wrote the Court of Criminal Appeals and asked them to send me a copy of the paperwork that the Harris County Court could sit there. So when I got a copy of the paperwork from the Court of Criminal Appeals, that's how I found out that the trial court never reviewed my 1107 for newly discovered evidence. So to me, upon investigating the law, they denied me my due process right to a fair review of my 1107 writs. So that's where I'm at now, trying to get back in court because the trial court never even looked at my subsequent writ for newly discovered evidence. But the main thing, the issues that I wanted to make sure they got out there was that from 2008, this 2008 case where I was arrested one day, and 2 days later, I went to trial. It was forced, and basically forced into taking 2 years and threatened with 10 years.
And that's crazy because I got a question. So when they said that they was getting you for tampering with cocaine, okay, did they drug test you? Did they test the pill that the aspirin that you had?
No, man, they did no field test. They did no lab test. They didn't piss test me.
So how did they determine that was cocaine?
I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know. See, at the time, I didn't know nothing about the law. So I didn't know nothing about that they had to do a field test, or they had to do a lab test, or they had to piss me. I didn't even know that they had to bring in court evidence to show that I had cocaine before they could convict me. I didn't know none of that.
So they just convict you on what they thought you had.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's that, and this is happening too many times, and this is sad. This is so sad, and it happens over and over again. So they were able to use this again to enhance your other charges, and this is what they do. They take because they taking prior convictions and they're adding it on because I think Texas is one of those states that the 3 strikes, especially when they had these 3 strikes, it's just crazy how they can do that, and they don't have evidence to prove that this has happened. I thought that we were innocent until proven guilty. So that means that they had to prove that you actually had cocaine, that pill was actually cocaine. Now, normally, if in order to arrest you, they should have they have kits. They should have tested that pill right there in front of you, because now when they pull people over and they say that they have drugs in the car, now I'm speaking from me because I don't had to go through this before. I don't been coming from Atlanta going to South Carolina, and they told me that my car smelled like marijuana, and they searched my whole entire car.
Right.
So if they and then they if I had said no, they said they was gonna take me back. They was gonna take me to Anderson, which was the closest jurisdiction, take me there, book me, and then they would get a warrant to search my car. So I let them search my car. I ain't got nothing to hide. Search my car. I know I didn't have no drugs. Search my car. But they were supposed, they should have tested. They have kits to test for drugs. Now they can pull out these kits. They can test. We see them all the time now. The state of Texas is so corrupt, y'all. It is ridiculous. If you Google corruption in the state of Texas, the governor gonna pop up, the attorney general gonna pop up. It's just a lot of the head people that are in charge are gonna pop up. I'm telling you, if y'all have not checked out Aspiring Authors Magazine, you need to check it out, because there are some articles in there that will bring some light to what is going on in the state of Texas and in that corrupt judicial system. It is corrupt from the head to the bottom, and it's getting worse each and every day, because stuff like this is happening right now. I'm telling you, there was an instance not even 3 weeks ago. There was a guy that had charges dismissed in San Antonio because there was a 13-second office cam video of them. See, they didn't believe him. They didn't believe him. They said that he had drugs. They had took him. They didn't believe that the officer, he was pulled over by a county officer. County officer was instructed to take him to the city of San Antonio to meet some officers. They pulled him up behind the church. There was about 8 officers waiting on him. One of the officers did not turn they body cam off in time enough, and it caught 13 seconds of them beating this man, pinning this man down on the ground, and trying to plant drugs on him. When this man kept saying that this was the case and this was what had happened to him, they told him that he was a lie. And if it had not been for that 13-second video that his lawyer found, that man would be in prison to this day. They was trying to get the man to plea bargain. They wanted him to take to what, 10 to 20, 10 to 15, something like that. But that 13-second video saved him. But just imagine all these people that don't have that 13-second video, that don't have that. He didn't have that. And they took the word of officers because they did not test the pills. They did not piss test him. You talk about what they just did. They just did a lockdown in Tdcj. They drug tested people. They was looking for drugs. They drug tested people. They talked about how many cases they had from people testing positive. So why they didn't drug test you? If you think that I got drugs, you think that I got drugs in me, then drug test me. That should have been grounds for another trial. Just the fact that they did not drug test you. That's crazy.
And the thing is, in my situation, the court-appointed attorney was working for the state. Jerome Garner Jr., right? The same court-appointed attorney that gave me in 2008 on that bogus case, they also gave him to me with this aggravated robbery and his burglary. Gave me the same. You know what I mean?
And that's what they do. That's what they've been doing. They have these court-appointed lawyers, these public defenders, and then these people they move their way up the ladder. They become assistant district attorneys, then they become district attorneys, and then they get on the Court of Appeals. And then guess what? All the people that they've put in prison, they end up staying in prison until they parole out, they max out, or die, because they become political prisoners, because then they lock them out the system. They block them out the system, and it's a sad. And this is happening over and over and over again. I'm telling you, I got about 35, 40 people I'm working with. And every last one of these cases, they resemble the same the format. I mean, you look at the format, you look at the roles, you look at the repeat thing, the things that are similar in all of these cases. In their story, all of their stories are similar. The state of Texas need to be held accountable. I feel like the Department of Justice need to come through the state of Texas because they need outside intervention. They need someone outside of the state of Texas looking at all this stuff that's going on and to do something about it. Because they've been doing reviews, but how can you review? How can you review, boys, and you are the person that is causing the problem? You are part of the problem. So how can you investigate when you are part of the problem? Instead of investigating, you just covering up. And see, that's what's been happening. That every DA that they've brought in, the district attorney, they've had to cover up for the district attorney that was in the before. Because we're looking at 3 to 4 years of 3 to 4 decades, not years. I'm sorry, 3 to 4 decades of corruption that has plagued the state of Texas. I'm telling you, that people don't believe me. All they got to do is Google corruption in the state of Texas, and I'm gonna tell you who gonna pop up. Your governor gonna pop up, Greg Abbott, and they call it the GOP app. They say they got an app for that. Abbott, Paxton, and Patrick. Those are your three, and they're gonna pop up every time. I'm telling you, grab you a copy of Aspiring Authors November edition of the magazine when it dropped. You'll see a lot of the things that is taking place in the state of Texas. And it's sad. It is sad. So tonight I want you to what can people do? If there's somebody out there that's hearing this and they may be in a place where they can assist you. They may be a lawyer, they may be a paralegal, they may just have some know-how. How can they assist you?
Right now, I'm doing an illegal sentence because of the improper and erroneous prior conviction that was used to enhance my sentence. Also, right now, as of today, Ms. Kim All agreed. Ms. Kim All and the trial court judge agreed that they made a mistake. They amended the judgment, but they failed to amend everything that the judgment was connected to. And that judgment was connected to the crime that I'm in here for now. Right now, the judgment for the aggravated robbery still has dead body. The burglary of the habitation judgment still has dead body. The indictments for the ag robbery and the burglary, it still has dead body. It doesn't have cocaine. It still has dead body. So it's still the improper and erroneous enhancement. But they failed to change it. They failed to do anything about it. Now they wrote them with no response from nobody.
And that's what happens. You know, there's so many cases. I'm dealing with so many of y'all that is the same thing. I've had people that they have told that they were innocent, that they were that DNA has proved that they were innocent. If they are innocent, then why do you still have these people behind prison bars? And then why is the court still handing down these no, they can't do nothing. Their hands are tied. How? Somebody need I just don't get this. Like I don't get this. I don't know the law. I'm not a criminal justice major. I don't know. I'm learning a lot of this as I deal with you guys. But I just believe that right is right, and that these people need to. When you make a mistake, own up to your mistake. Okay, you made a mistake. Correct the mistake that you made. But see, they are afraid to correct the mistake that they made because they know they've made it over and over and over again, and they know that it would be thousands of people that they would have to set free, and they would cost them money, and they don't want to lose money. See, it's all about money and power with the state of Texas. I've come to realize that it's all about money, and it's all about having them beds filled. And they're doing it at the expense of all brown people. And the citizens of Texas need to wake up. They need to wake up. It's too many people being quiet. Couldn't be my loved one. Couldn't be my loved one. I'm sorry. Couldn't be my loved one. And I know you don't have family down there in Texas because you said in the beginning that you was from Baltimore, Maryland.
All my family in Maryland. I'm down here by myself. So,
So you don't have nobody to go knock on the doors and knock the doors down. But the citizens of Texas should have said enough is enough. This is happening right there in their state.
man,
See, a lot of us, we don't open our mouth because it's not happening to us.
yeah.
But Lord forbid that it happens to you, because you're not exempt. And these people are showing you over and over that you could be the next one. If you go through the big state of Texas, you could be the next one.
Yeah.
So be careful going to Texas. Be careful going to Texas. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing with us and being transparent, because I know it's not easy. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm not giving up though. I'm still fighting. I'm still writing to lawyers and trying to get help, trying to get assistance.
So have you contacted the Innocent Project, or the
Well,
Innocent Project don't take on situations like
no,
yours? I know
right
somebody
now,
said that they only want DNA stuff that they can be proven by DNA and stuff like that.
well, I got all my paperwork right to show everything that I talked to you about. And I did send it to the Innocence Project in Houston, the University of Houston Network Innocence Project. And they sent me 2 applications. I filled the applications out and sent it to them. And they told me that they was doing an investigation. So far it's been 3.5 months. They had my paperwork and they've been doing an investigation. So I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna find in the investigation. But all my paperwork is legit. And the paperwork is from them. It's from the state. Showing everything. I mean, it's showing where that if I do get back in court, they would have to release me with time served.
And the judge that whoever passed this down, they need to walk over to somebody. They can walk over to somebody's office, whoever have the power to say, give this man an F1, immediate release. Whoever got that power, that is the person that need to be on their desk.
Yeah. Trial court judge had the power to bring me back to court, straighten all this out. He got the power to do it. They only had to go to the Court of Criminal Appeals or none of that. Trial court judge, because it's under their jurisdiction. They got the power to bring me back.
Well, some people need to be writing that judge. They need to be flooding that judge mailbox, P.O. box, or whatever kind of box they use. They need to be flooding it. Somebody need to be knocking on his door and sitting down at his desk. But I know you don't have nobody here, down there in the state of Texas to do that. So that's sad. No, definitely don't want you to give up. Definitely do not. And
I'm just waiting to see what the Innocent Project gonna do. They got everything. They said they're doing an investigation. I think that the longer it takes, the better, because that means hopefully that they doing an investigation, a proper investigation. Because they could have easily wrote me back and said I didn't have anything. But it's been 3.5 months so far.
Well, hopefully they'll do the right thing, and then the judge will do the right thing, and you will be free. And then maybe this will make them take a closer look at what they're doing, and maybe it'll open up the door for some more people. But I thank you for coming on and sharing. I tell you, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to keep sharing and keep allowing you guys to come on and share your story and to bring more awareness to it. And to you all that have been wrongfully and overly incarcerated at home, because this is terrible, because people are losing, they're losing family members, they are losing valuable years of their lives, and those are things that cannot be taken back. There's no amount of money in this world that can replace the years that you've lost, the memories that you have lost, memories that you could have created, and the different things that have taken place.
That's what that first 2 years sentence did to me. Once I came home, I lost my apartment, I lost my job, so I ended up working at labor halls and staying at hotels every night. You know what I mean? So things got real bad after that. Something that I didn't do.
Wow.
That's how it happens sometimes.
But I definitely want
But
you to stay encouraged and know that
yes, ma'am.
you are on our prayer list. We will definitely be praying for you. I want to thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on tonight.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have a great evening, and I'm definitely
Yes, you
going to be
too.
sharing this out in our circle of influence.
Yes, God bless you.
God bless you too, and thank you
Right.
again.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow. Well, definitely, I thank you guys for hanging out with me this hour. This is what I do when I am not um, doing stuff behind the scenes for the Crew Podcast. When I'm not on the WBNN, Walking in Purpose with Angela. When I'm not on Monday Morning Motivation. When I'm not doing homework. Y'all, this is what I'm doing. I'm listening to these individual stories. I'm googling and trying to find out different other cases that have similar things that maybe they can use this to, and I'm writing these different senators, writing these different representatives, writing these different Congress people. Y'all, this is what I do. It's sad, but I just can't. Somebody contacted me. They reached out to me, and I just felt obligated, y'all. It breaks my heart that these people are going through this. There are even women that are going through this. I have a young lady that's gonna come on and share. Um, she was supposed to be on last night, but I don't know what's going on over at her facility. But hopefully I'll be able to get her on soon. Yeah, it's just a lot. And then you talk about juveniles that have been locked up since they were 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, and then having to go to adult facilities and be treated like adults. Y'all, it's sad. The state of Texas is sad. So those that believe in the power of prayer, please, in your private prayers, please lift up the state of Texas and the Tdcj, the judicial system there, y'all, because they need much prayer. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I want to thank those over on TikTok that have chimed in, that have supported me, and definitely thank my family here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for supporting the Crew Podcast. Y'all, I am the visionary behind the scenes, but there are shows that were free, so I decided to take on some of these shows and to allow these individuals to come on and share. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you, Patrice, Latanya, and Black Diamond for stopping in and participating in the conversation, y'all. They are part of the Crew Podcast. They are some of the amazing hosts that are part of the Crew Podcast. If you have not checked out the Crew Podcast, please check us out. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on an amazing platform called U42. So, y'all, check us out. I love you guys and thank you for all your support. Y'all have a blessed night. And if you want to, please make sure you tune in tomorrow night. I have two more amazing guests stopping by on tomorrow night. Y'all be blessed and thank you once again.